how many other girls he's been handing that
I
shit
know.
out
You know, if I wasn't, like, stuck in a supermarket, I don't know, like, what if I was in a situation where I couldn't leave, or, you know, if, you know, like, I don't know, just what if things had been different and I couldn't walk away and immediately tell somebody, or, like, yeah, weird man.
Very.
Yeah.
Super weird experience, like super weird. I've
Yeah.
never heard anything similar. And I'm sure that this guy's been doing it, who knows since how long and how many people.
Yeah.
And so, shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Well,
Absolutely.
just wait for the next one.
Okay. Hit me.
Okay, so, this one is like the sexual assault, and I
Okay.
feel like, I remember at the time when it happened, I felt very strange about putting that label on it.
Okay.
And I remember, like, saying it to a friend, and he was like, no, that is what, like, call it what it is.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, like, you're valid.
Yeah.
But so, we were in Berlin. It was, like, me and my, like, school friends, my, like, girl group of 6. And we were going interrailing. So, we had been to Amsterdam first, and then this was our, like, second stop. And so, I think, was I 20? Yeah, I think it was 20. So it was after second year of college. And it's such a funny story, because the friend who booked it, so it was like, I think it was the 6 of us plus like a few others, and one of the girls who booked the hostel in Berlin, she thought she had booked a 6-bed room.
Okay.
She had booked like 6 beds in a 24
Oh,
dormitory.
Okay.
And then, so we got there, and the receptionist was like, oh, and, you know, great news, your room has been upgraded to a 12-person dorm. And we were like,
Yeah.
upgraded, excuse me? And we were like, Helen, what the fuck did you do?
Oh shit.
And she was like, I was so sorry.
I
I didn't know. So so we were sharing with, like, I think 2 of the beds were empty, so we were sharing with, like, 4 others. Got up to the room, and it was a really nice room, like floor to ceiling, like, big windows, and then just, like, curtains, like, all the way across. It was really, like, bright and spacious and stuff, and there was kind of like a kitchen area as well. So I think it was the first night that we were there, and me and one of my other friends just accidentally got, like, way too drunk, because we were drinking out of, like, a litre bottle of vodka. So, like, usually I would just have, like, 200 mils, and, like, I would know when I was done, because, like, it was gone.
Yeah.
But, like, I couldn't, like, measure how much I was drinking,
Okay.
and I stupidly wasn't, like, measuring it. Like,
Okay.
we didn't have shot glasses,
Okay.
like, we didn't have anything. It was just, like, you know, pour a little bit and keep drinking. So at that point, I was like, I'm not going out. Like, I literally, like, the whole room is spinning, like, I can't. And then, like, my friend ended up being in the exact same way, and so the 2 of us stayed, and everyone else went off. And then, basically, the next morning, I woke up because I thought someone was poking me. So, like, I mean, it's not relevant exactly, like, what I was wearing, but, like, it was just, like, shorts and a t-shirt, like, it was just PJs. And, like, bear in mind, like, I'm severely hungover, like, not, you know, exhausted, not aware of, like, what's going on. And, like, so I just felt like a poke, like, my inner thigh. And then, so I woke up, and I turned to, like, the right-hand side, and so I'm in the top bunk.
Okay.
And I look over, and there's, like, one of the other guys that was staying there in the room with us, and he just, like, turns and gets back into his bed. And I was like, the fuck? I thought he was trying to, like, look for my phone or something. I thought he might be trying to steal from me. Yeah. So I checked to see, like, okay, my phone's there, turned back over and went to sleep. And, like, as I sat up and, like, looked at him, he went back to sleep. And then my friend was, like, all the way over the other side of the room, and she's doing, like, waving her arms at me and, like, making weird faces and kind of, like, trying to mouth something to me. And I had no idea what she was trying to say to me because I was so exhausted. I was like, what the fuck? And so I just, at that point, I was like, I'm sorry, like, this communication effort did not work. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. You're too far away. So I just turned around, like, went back to sleep. And then all the girls, like, woke me up. And my friend Claire was like, get dressed and, like, come downstairs and we'll tell you later, like, what's happening. I was like, what? And they were all, like, kind of, like, frantic. And they were like, just get dressed. I was like, okay. So I, like, whatever, pulled on shorts, t-shirt, and so we all, like, went out into the hall and, like, towards the elevator, and one of the girls was like, Robyn, like, what he had done, he was like, he shook my ankle to, like, see if I would wake up, and then, like, slowly just, like, moved his hand, like, up my leg, and obviously, like, my whole leg was exposed because I was wearing these, like, little pajama shorts. And at the same time, and, like, broad daylight, this was maybe, like, 8 o'clock in the morning, and, like, because the whole room is so open space, it's bright as hell. And, like, the whole thing is open plan, so, like, everyone could have seen him, and he was, like, wanking. He was, like, while he was, like, running his hand up my leg. And so I only woke up, like, when he got to, like, my inner thigh, because I was just, like, out for the count, like, I was not waking up. And then, so, like, my friend who was waving at me, she saw the whole thing, and she was terrified, and she was like, okay, I need to, like, you know, I don't want to yell at him, because then he might, like, come over and, like, do something to me. So she, like, took out her phone and started recording for, like, proof that, like, something had happened. And, like, I don't know, I guess hoping that, like, obviously, like, she wouldn't have let it, like, escalate, like, if it had gotten worse, she would have, like, yelled or something. But, yeah, like, they told me, like, what had happened, and I just started crying, because I was like, what the fuck, like, what? Because all I remember is just seeing him turn away, and so, when I turned around, he, like, sat back into his bed, but, like, continued, and just, like, watched me, and just, like, continued, like, whatever, jacking off, and, like, he was just, like, I don't remember his face, but I remember he, like, I couldn't tell you how old he was. He was maybe like late 20s, early 30s, and, like, bald head, like, he was there, I think he was there with one other guy, or, like, maybe they met along the way. I don't think they were, like, close friends, but then it was, like, the thought of having to tell my parents what had happened. I just got so upset, because I was, like, that kind of made it real then, and I was like, oh shit, like, something's happened. And we went down to the reception, and we were like, you need to get this guy out of our room, like, this whole thing has just happened, like, can you call somebody, like, can you know, call the police or something, like, we want to report this guy, we want him out of the room. And obviously we don't speak any German, and, like, the people in the hostel had really good English, but there was some sort of, like, miscommunication, because they called an ambulance and they called the police, so, like, we were all sitting downstairs, all the girls were, like, comforting me, or just kind of shared, like, what the fuck. And, like, the ambulance arrived with, like, a rape kit and, like, all this kind of stuff, and we were like, no, like, I don't know what miscommunication has happened here, but I was also like, I'm not doing that, like, you're not swapping me, you're not doing anything, like, I don't want to be touched. And then we had to speak to the police, and it was just, like, their English was terrible, and, like, it was just such a language barrier, like, trying to communicate and trying to, like, tell them what was happening. And then, like, at one point, and it was, like, mostly male officers as well, and then he was, you know, one of them was like, you know, what were you wearing, and being really graphic, kind of, and, like, you know, like, did his hand, like, go inside your underwear and that kind of thing, and I was just, like, I was so uncomfortable. And it was weird because, like, my friend who had seen it, like, she was really upset, like, the whole time she was like, she just burst into tears, and it was like I was the one who had, like, it had happened to, but she was the one who saw it, and so it was a really weird kind of, like, the two of us had like very different, like I think I'm the type of person that like, I guess it's maybe like a protective mechanism or like a coping mechanism that like if something happens, you know, like if a family member dies or something, like I don't react straight away, or I don't have like a big emotional response until a little bit later.
Okay.
It's almost like my body is, or like my head is trying to like protect myself from like the emotional trauma or like experience of it all. So it kind of doesn't hit me straight away. So she was like really, really upset, talking to the police, and I just kind of wasn't. I was kind of like, I don't know, I didn't have much emotion. I was just kind of factual about it, you know. I was like, this is what I remember, this is what happened, the end. And they ended up like going up to the room and they like arrested him. Like they told him to like get all his shit. He like came out and they put him in the police car, and the receptionist was like, we've told all the hostels and hotels in the area, like we've sent a picture of his face and like his details, like he won't be allowed to stay anywhere nearby. And I think they said something like it would go on his record, or like they would like, he would be, or someone would be notified that like this had happened, and that he was like the perpetrator of it. And then like I called my mum and I was like really upset, and I was just like, you know, I'm okay, nothing's happened, but like, you know, we've just experienced this. And her response was kind of like, you know, it could have been much worse, or like, you know, it's horrible that it's happened, but like you didn't like experience it, like, you know, you were asleep, and you know, kind of, I guess, trying to be like, take comfort in the fact that it wasn't like super traumatizing. And then like we just went for brunch, and I actually I had like the most disappointing pancakes of my life. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get chocolate pancakes, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fine, and they tasted really bad, so that was just a bit disappointing after all that happened in the morning. And then so then we ended up, I was like, I demand a refund for like the last 2 nights. I was like, I'm not staying here. We went back up to the room and I packed all our stuff, and we found like a much nicer place for like the same whatever the balance was of like whatever we got in the refund, we just like put it into like a really nice place for the last night or two. And then like I remember trying to like rationalize it, or trying to think like, why did he do that to me, or like why me? And like it just, I don't even know, because I think I was maybe the closest girl though to him, because his bed was the only one that wasn't a bunk bed, so I think they'd like added the bed in extra. And there was like, during the night, like when we were drinking, when I was like really drunk or whatever, I remember going back into the room, so like left the kitchen, went back into like the big room, because I wanted to like change my outfit. I was thinking like, oh, I don't know if I like what I'm wearing, so I'll try and change it. And I borrowed a friend's like, it was like a play suit or something, so it was like shorts and a top like all together, but it had like a tie here, like around the like boobs, and like she's like much smaller than I am, so like it didn't fit. So then I do remember I had like the top like untied, like I was in my bra, but I was like fishing through my bag, like looking for stuff. It was pitch black, and I don't know whether he was there or not. Like I don't know if he saw me like changing in the dark, because I didn't turn the lights on, because I think also at that point maybe like other people in the room were sleeping, so like to turn the lights on for everyone would be like kind of rude or disrespectful. So that was like the only thing that I was like, oh maybe, but then now like looking back on it, like there's no excuse, there's no nothing, like there's no, I didn't do this, you know, like I didn't give him any reason to like be inappropriate or like literally to assault me. Like, I think that's, but I think that's natural to, you know,